So today I have with me the Samsung Galaxy M33 5G. This is a budget segment smartphone with a 5nm processor. It's over 6 months old and right now I feel it's coming at the best price possible. And this is a phone that you have to look out for if you're searching for a phone in a 15,000 to 20,000 price range. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So this is the box that comes with the Samsung Galaxy M33 5G. So as you can see, this box has gone on dieting, which means that it does not come with a charger out of the box, although the phone supports 25 watt fast charging. It does come with a USB Type-C to Type-C cable, and that's it. Apart from that, you get the phone, of course. So let's come to the smartphone. So let's start with the display. So this display is a 6.6 inch 1080p 120Hz TFT LCD display with protection due to Corning Gorilla Glass 5, and this is a great display. The viewing angles are great along with the contrast and colors shown. It is not an AMOLED display, of course, although many phones in this particular price range do come with an AMOLED display, but if there was a competition amongst TFT or LCD displays, this phone would surely win it over any other smartphone in this particular price range. The 120Hz display is adaptive, although it's not LTPO, which means that it can shift between 60, 90 and 120Hz based on the current usage of the smartphone. Coming to the overall design, so it's a pretty thick smartphone considering that it has a 6000 mAh battery and it's a plastic design, although it's a soft touch finish with a great color. My personal favorite while buying this smartphone was this blue color because it gives a really good gradient of the different shades of blue. This is by far my favorite color in a smartphone. The camera bump too is not very edgy and is actually a soft inclination from the back of the smartphone and is not very thick as well. The fingerprint sensor lies on the power button on the side and is extremely fast. The bezels are pretty thin except for the chin at the bottom. It is thinner than other smartphones but not the thinnest out there. Coming to the processor, so this smartphone packs with it the Exynos 1280 processor, which is a 5nm 5G processor from Samsung. It's the same processor which is there in Samsung's higher end A53 5G smartphone. The performance that it provides is great, as you can see according to this Geekbench score over here, and is pretty much regular as well. It comes with a base of 6GB RAM and 128GB storage. Although the RAM can be upgraded to 8GB, the storage cannot be upgraded any further. Overall, the performance has been great. During my usage of the smartphone, I did not game much, and of course, this is not a gaming-centric smartphone, but you can do some medium gaming that is on high graphics but not ultra. The 120Hz display has had no lag and no glitches, although I felt as if Twitter was not yet optimized for this particular smartphone, but that is pretty normal. Twitter was just a little bit laggy on this particular smartphone. Apart from that, I've had no problems when it comes to the performance in this smartphone. Now let's come to the battery and the battery life. So this is one place where I was certainly astonished. The phone packs with it a 6000 mAh battery, and although I always kept the 120Hz adapter display on, I was still able to get 10 hours or over 10 hours of screen on time with 20% battery left, as you can see from this particular screenshot. The phone does support 25 watt fast charging, although there's no charger included in the box, and the charger can be bought separately for a price of 1300 rupees, which is kind of expensive considering that you're buying a phone in this particular price range. Most people who are buying this phone will most probably not go for the charger and instead will use an older, slower charger which they might have with them. Coming to the cameras, the phone packs with it a 50 megapixel quad camera setup consisting of a 50 megapixel main, a 5 megapixel ultra wide, a 2 megapixel depth and a 2 megapixel macro camera. The last two 2 megapixel sensors are pretty much useless, as you can see from the macro shots that I have taken here. It is decent but not very usable. It has a lot of noise and the colors are also little faded. Coming to the main 50 megapixel sensor, so this is a great sensor with really good dynamic range and contrast. I could easily take sky shots in bright sunlight and overall the colors did not seem to fade as well. The phone does support up to 10 times digital zoom, although it does not have any telephoto lens. Until 4x, the photos are pretty usable, but after that it seems to go really bad in terms of quality. At 1x and ultra wide, I don't see much difference when it comes to the color signs, and that is a great sign. The ultra wide sensor has got slightly drier quality images in comparison to the main 50 megapixel sensor, but it's not that much of a difference. Overall, the cameras provide for a very natural type of photo which is not too contrasted with great dynamic range as well. The night mode shots have also come out pretty decent, as you can see from these images. Overall, this is a decent set of cameras and is good in this particular price range. Overall, this is a decent camera system, especially in a smartphone in this particular price range. You might find better cameras, but with the overall package, this is a pretty good camera system. So now coming to something that astonished me a lot, the fingerprint sensor. The fingerprint sensor is extremely fast as it is situated on the power button, and now I usually don't even use the lock screen, so this is where the gestures come in. You can swipe down and up on the fingerprint sensor in order to open the notification panel, which is extremely useful instead of opening the lock screen every single time. You can directly open the notification panel and access your notifications. One more thing that really surprised me was the haptic motor. It's not the cheap haptic motor that you usually get in phones in this particular price range, and this was not expected at all. It is much above average and is extremely tight and is subtle when it comes to the vibrations that it produces. The phone also supports 4G Plus and 5G. 4G Plus provides for great speeds ranging from over 70 to 100 or 110 Mbps as well. I have found it to be great in almost all conditions, but the fact that 4G Plus is not available everywhere might be a slight downside. Coming to the overall software, the phone comes with One UI 4.1, which is Samsung's skin over Android 12. So this is the top end software that Samsung provides even on their flagship smartphones, which is a great sign. Samsung has claimed to provide 3 years of software updates and 4 years of security updates for this particular smartphone. The phone does have features like Samsung's secure folder, in which you can keep files encrypted and which can be only unlocked using a fingerprint or a specialized password. The phone comes in no bloatware, which is again another plus point which I have not seen in Samsung smartphones over the past few years. Although by default it will download them, but while setting up the smartphones you can turn that off. You just have to keep a lookout for those apps. Overall, this is a great smartphone in the price range of 15,000 to 20,000 rupees and is surely something to keep an eye on if you're looking for a smartphone in this particular price range. It's only 6 months old, which means that the performance is still up to date and at par with most smartphones today. One thing that I felt was missing in this particular smartphone was the always on display feature. So that feature has been in Samsung smartphones for the past few generations but is not present in this smartphone. So if that is something that you're very used to, you will not find that in this particular smartphone. Overall, a great, decent package of a smartphone, and it's a great buy, especially if you're looking for smartphones in the 15,000 to 20,000 price bracket. Anyways, that's been it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll leave links for both those accounts in the video description. Thanks for watching. This is Tech Savage, and I'll see you guys in the next one.